Shucks. Top of the morning. I think it's going to switch here in just a second. Let's see if it does. Boop. Nope, not yet. All right. Hey, top of the morning to you. It hadn't switched over yet to audio. Why not? Let's see here. Let's try this one more time. Took me a minute last week. I'm here. I'm in a new place today. So Mac, battery power, and USB audio. There we go. Okay, I think it switched over right then to my microphone, which will help us just a little bit. Good morning to you. I'm Michael. Grandkids call me Roo. In a whole other place today. Left my cookie on the desk. Right there it is. I'll have to eat that at some point in time here this morning. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for being on. I've got a little video to show you here. I'm going to just give it just a minute. I'm going to say hello. I can hear you now. Yeah. Remember, I'm still working on a new computer, and of all things, I've left my studio. I'm on the road, and I'm going to show you a video in just a minute of kind of where I am and what it took me to set this up. This being this I'm doing with my hands here, and we'll go from there. All right, so let me say hello to everybody's on. Lori Stanley, Handelmeyer Henderson, thanks for being on this morning. Jason Nicholas, always a pleasure to have you. Sharon Caldwell, good morning to you. Deborah Spangler, good morning to you. Trish Brown, Karen Bender-Cinder, thank you very much. Elaine Barnett, welcome. Kay Marie Piker, glad you're on the show today. And Maggie Carnahan from Culpeper. Miss Carla says, I'm back. The rumors of her demise were a bit exaggerated. Mark Twain, I think. Rumors of my demise have greatly been exaggerated. Linda Schleitney, thank you for being on from beautiful Ohio. I need a beautiful Ohio day here today. I'm in just outside of Jacksonville on the East Coast. And yesterday was one of those days where you go, yeah, this is not the day you want to drive this far and be in this weather. So Carol and I did walk to dinner last night under an umbrella, just about probably, less than a quarter mile down the road, and had a little dinner here. Gene Anthalzer, thank you for being on the show. Chris Whitaker, Skeeter Powell, hello, Roo. Donna Buckley, thank you. Donna, as we know her on this show as Payne's Gray. And it's not the pain you might think. It's a different spelling. Jennifer Cayley, welcome. Good morning to you. And Andy McBee, thank you for Bean. I said Bean. I didn't finish that word, though. Thanks for being on. Hey, let me show you where I am today. Thanks for being on. I'm going to jump right on something and paint it, but I thought, no, let me paint something first, and then I'll show you where I'm painting from and how I got to this. I hope this holds out for a while. I literally am using a battery-operated light today. Going to have a little bit of a strike of a shadow here. Let me see if I can pull that out of the way. Oh, I think that helped immensely. Something as small as a phone cord. I made a big purchase yesterday at an art store. There it is right there. I was looking for a magnesium one. This is aluminum. Hard to find magnesium these days. It's a little more expensive, but a little pencil sharpener. Now I've just got to find a pencil. So it is what it is. I did travel with my mug. There it is right there. Let me see. I don't know if this is backwards or not, so you might could read it, you might can't. I'm working with a new system. It's been a little crazy. So, but I'm glad you're on this morning, so thanks for being here. Time to get the lead out. I get it. Chip Furr here early. Hey, Chip, welcome, man. Chip's been up all night painting, I'm sure. So, all right, here's the thing. I got into, where's my camera? I almost looked over there, but I'm in another place, and I'll show you when. I got into Jacksonville Thursday evening, and we went straight to have a little bite to eat off the road. And we drove down, just a beautiful drive down here, and then it started just still cool in Florida. And I'm here, you'll hear in a little video I'm going to run in a second. I'm here to shoot some videos at a banquet this evening. About 430, 40 folks are coming to this Young Life event, and I'm going to just pick up some OTF, on the fly videos of some people who are here and who, it's about a camp that's south of here. And so I do a lot of video production work. So I just packed what I needed video wise, everything. When I say on the fly, I mean I've got my camera, my bigger camera with the microphones and the wireless stuff and all the light and everything on it. And so I'll just stick it right in their face and just ask them about 3 questions and catch them off guard. And they'll be going like, I wonder what he said. And I need some of those for them just to think fast. I don't want to call them ahead of time and say, hey, could you write out several things to say? No, I don't want that. I want their heart. I want their first expression. So that's kind of where I'm heading with this. So I had enough equipment in here. Hey, Pat Lightbody, welcome to the show. And Michelle Hamilton, thank you for being on. Marlena Davis, Alice Durham, thank you guys for jumping on this morning. Good crew on this Saturday morning, March 2nd. And remember, we're counting down here 20 days from about today, somewhere between the 22nd and the 28th, somewhere right in there. And I don't know if I can look it up. I could probably go back, but it was when I really started Roodoodles on live streaming for that 100 days. And out of that 100 days came Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle, the book that Pat helped me put together. And she kept up with all these crazy things that I was saying, like think like an artist and stay behind the mule. And why? It's because if you keep your hands to the plow and you paint every day, you will just get better. I'm telling you, you will get better. And you'll get better, and you'll get better, and you'll get better, and you'll learn what paper you like, and you'll learn what ink you like, or what paint you like, and especially watercolor. And you'll learn that it is watercolor for a purpose. Water first, color second. Most of the time, if you paint just all dry watercolor paint, you're just going to feel like you're moving around acrylic or oil. You should just change your medium. But watercolor is watercolor. And so there's the Altoid box. I showed that to several people yesterday, even one lady in a gallery. And she said, I need one of your cards. And I said, well, do you have 2 minutes? Okay, so I whipped out my little notebook, wherever it is here. Here it is right here. Whipped out this little notebook and said, okay, here, let me get you a piece of paper. And she said, oh my gosh, you have paper in there? And I said, yeah. And I said, it's really good paper too. And I told her it's Kilimanjaro cotton. And I painted her and her husband a little rooster. And he showed me some of his work. And he goes, okay, this would make me go to watercolor right here. This would probably make me change. So anyway, so that's kind of where we are today. And I'm gonna show you. So we get in town, and I went, man, Carol, we've been on the road all day, and I have not had 1 second to even paint anything today. She says, well, it's just now 8:25. Why don't you paint one thing and just post it at 8:57? You always end an auction at 8:57. Why don't you post something? So I did, and here's what I came up with. Maybe you saw them the other night. Somebody bought them. I painted first. Let's see, what did I do first? I think I did a little crab first. Maybe. I think I did that little crab first right here. And so I just whipped that out with out of my pocket. Boom, boom, boom. Sit down. This is on Soho paper. I'll tell you more about it. It's the little sketching paper that I'm doing. It's 135 pound. The ink stays really wet on it. So if you're using some of that, then I thought, well, I should put a shrimp with that. You know, I'm at the beach. When in Rome, right? So boom. That's the second one I did. And then I did one more. And I said, I need one more little thing here. What would it be? And she said, sandpipers. And I went, yikes, sandpipers? I don't do sandpipers. So I did these 2 little pipers. It says, when do we stop for lunch? And then that made me want to do this sandpiper, which I did. And by now it's about 5 after 9. And then I'm just throwing. So I started with these 3. And then I threw this one in. And then I painted another crab that said, yeah, I'm blue. She said, you know, I really like blue crabs instead of green crabs. I'm going like, well, we're not in Washington, you know, we went south. And then I painted this ghost crab. And so those are how fast you can just sort of be in Rome when you're in Rome. Paint where you are, what you see. And so that's kind of how it turned out. Now, my friend here has a galley kitchen that I'm looking. It's off to my left. And so in the window, I went to make a cup of tea, and I saw this little crab that said, "Good party." And it said 23 on it. And so I went on across the windows, and this one says 2016 on it. And I painted this one. We were here in 2016. This one said, "This is one of those days when you need to sit, sip, sing, and see the waves roll. Past today, tomorrow, and maybe the next day too." So I did my Roo in the Adirondack, and there's some Adirondack setting right here you'll see in a second. And then I did her a shrimp cocktail, and I did this one in 2018. Holy smokes. So there's a 17 that I did, and then in 2021, I did her a lobster, and it's being framed. And then I did the dragonfly in the window, and yesterday I repainted it. So I'm going to repaint that dragonfly for you this morning to make sure I don't mix up all her paintings with mine. And so, where is that dragonfly? I think he's right under here. So the dragonfly I painted yesterday was this one, and this one is like sits in her window. And it's a caption that I came up with several years ago when I was painting these dragonflies. And to fly, one must take themselves so lightly. And it came from an old quote, adage that I'd heard years ago. And I want to say, and we've already mentioned it this morning, Mark Twain may have said something like it. He said, "The reason angels fly," could have been Will Rogers, but Mark Twain, one of those humorists, said something like, "The reason angels fly is because they take themselves so lightly." And I thought, that's just genius. And so, so I want to show you how I painted this. And I painted it with this brush right here. Boom. Looks like I am going to have to get up from where I am. So I'll put a video on and show you what I'm talking about and where I am. Then we'll come back and paint this dragonfly. So let me go get some water, because and this little video that I just shot a few minutes ago, it's what I've been doing if I was a little late, shows my walk in, and then it shows where I'm sitting, because I want you to see a little bit behind the scenes, okay? So here we go. Let's see if this will roll. And then I'm going to go get some water, and we're going to paint a dragonfly this morning. Thanks for being on the show. Love to have you here. This is just a few minutes long. Hey, Michelle Hamilton, Valerie Prazy, thanks for being on the show. Patricia Hazel. Let's see. Ricky's on. Bastise Govers. JJ Desk is on. I had never painted watercolor or anything else before my first Roo experience. Miss Carla, no kidding. I didn't know there was well, thank you very much. I'm glad I'm a part of your expanding your creativity. Think like an artist. All right. Hey, I'm going to go freshen up my tea and get some water to paint out of. And here's where I'm painting today. And it may be hard to hear the audio on the desk, but you'll get an idea of all the mess and where I'm painting today, okay? Take a look at this right here. I think this is it. Hey, I thought it might be good to show you a little bit of behind the scenes. I carry this travel bag with me inside. Over here's my camera. And this is just filled with gear, chargers, batteries, handles, wires. But a hard drive for my computer, all the books and things I'm working through right now. And then I've got a video shoot tonight where we are down in Jacksonville. And so this is what my desk looks like this morning. So I didn't want you to think it was all clean and simple and pristine and I'm in the studio. This is makeshift. As a matter of fact, the light this morning is my work's utility light that I just have. It has 4 different settings. It blinks on and off. And as you can see, I'm gonna turn it off there for a second. Microphone that I use for interviews slips inside a pocket, has a lavalier mic that goes to it here. I'll have that clipped on this morning, which is different than my studio. Here's a little light I might need. the wire that goes to my phone camera, which I'll be using this morning. I'll be sitting here like this. Here's my area over here. My pins that I carry. I do travel with a mug. Here's my bug out bag. My other little art bag that's on my shoulder always. Here's a handful of pins. Computer drives everything. This is my Mac. Here's my Altoid box of colors, and this, of course, is another little color pad that I carry. You see me use this on the show. I think that's by the Whiskey Painters. This is probably one of the most professional things. I didn't bring any tripods because these interviews I'm doing tonight are what we call OTF. That's okay, on the fly. And so my friend whose house we're staying in today has a little coffee pod machine. She buys them in bulk. So I just went in the closet and got one of the boxes, turned it upside down. So I've got a weight here and a clamp. This is a small rig that holds my camera, the camera that I'm using right here. Sometimes if I'm shooting a quick little scene shot somewhere that I need to cheat in an extra shot, so my camera will clip in there, and that'll be the video that points down that you'll see here. That's the view you'll see from this camera this morning. So roll it back upside down, and I'm sitting in this little chair. I'll sit down there and show you what it looks like this. There it is, and I'm looking out that window right there. Yep, some palm trees right over here. And in this funky dining room, look at this. Whoa, is that not the coolest lamp you've ever seen? I'll show you another picture of that as I'll let you go. Anyway, so this is it. It's so organized and beautiful. But I want you to see all the chaos behind the scenes that goes into making a small piece of art. So today, because this is a quick grip, between this box, which you'll see some of it in the shot today, and here, this is my Kilimanjaro pad, and then here is my little journal pad, so you can see how that fits in there. So that gives you an idea of what I'll go through from, I started at 7:30 this morning, hooking everything up, and I should be ready to go here at showtime. So let's get busy. Think like an artist. There you have it. Okay, I hope that was helpful. That gives you an idea of kind of what it's like to, there's a computer that drives it all. You see all those wires and stuff. I mean, I didn't set this up to make it look a little more dramatic than it is. As I pull things out of the box, I hooked them up. Let me grab my microphone back on today. I don't have my studio mic, so I'm using a little lavalier from my camera bag. All right. So, hey, is it Janetta Doppler? Thank you for being on the show. Sometimes you do whatever works. I get it, Jason, and that Works Light is great. I used to shoot some commercials for those guys. Look at all the gear it makes on the road makes me even more grateful. You take us along. Well, thank you so much. But didn't you love that scene walking in that little brick path? It's one of our favorite places when Carol and I are able to stay here at our friend's house and we pull our bags down that little walk. I'm just telling you right now. It's like, where are we? And you know what we say? We say what I say all the time when I get to paint and do watercolor. I am highly favored. I'm happy just to be alive. I love it, love it, love it. I'm blessed. All right, so here we go. I'm painting on Kilimanjaro 140 pound, cold pressed, 100% rag cotton. It's my favorite paper from you know where, Cheap Joe's. And but it has these fly leaves in, and I'm laying one down here because I want to show you if I want to paint a dragonfly, and I don't know what I did with that one. That doesn't matter. I can remember what they look like, and I don't want them all look alike anyway. So I'm just going to sketch with a pen. This pen is my carry everyday pen, but inside this pen, the refill, I've cut it down. You know, this is my old heavy pen that I carry, but inside is a Intergel 05 liquid gel. It's a Pentel Intergel needle tip. So that's still what I'm carrying. I haven't changed oil on you yet, but I'm going to today. I'm going to show you a new pen. So stick with me today. All right, here we go. So let's say I wanted to paint a dragonfly like the one I did yesterday. I would do the eyes up here like kind of like this. I'm going to start him way over here to the side, and then I draw his body, and I just draw these little segments in however I feel like it. You know, I mean, I'm sure they're hatched out and they're just as weird as they can possibly be. And then I'm going to come right in here about this section, and I'm just going to go out with a little bit of a line like this and create the wings And then, of course, they have a double wing. And so if you want to do the wing like that, you can. That'll be good. And then the little legs come up and they turn out like this. And I think there's probably 6 wings. They don't have antenna like butterfly. So you're going to see it a little more just like this. And then, of course, I just take my brush. And yesterday, I even talked to Phoebe yesterday. This is a Yasutoma, a number 2, clean water. And I'll just take this and I'll come in here and just start to add a little bit of water. And watch this. I'm going to do it just on this piece of paper. I'm just brushing some water in both directions here. And just letting that start to bleed. Can you see what's happening to the lines? They're softening up and breaking up there a little bit. And then why don't we just go get a little bit of, let's do some green out here on this wing first. Here's what I'm painting out of today. There's my little, I could probably do it like this and you can see just a little better. Yeah, let's see if I can move this over just a smidge here. Get my water out of the way. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, I figured this was going to be a wrestling match, and I'm pretty much right. Okay, so let's go in and get a little purple in here and throw a little purple in just like this. I am literally holding this brush back to here, and this is the relationship that I have with Yasutoma right here. Remember the story? I received a picture, like a snapshot that you're looking at right now, and it was a rooster, and it had my hand, it had a brush like this, and it had the rooster here. And so the email said, is this your painting? Because we think that's our brush. And it was signed by Phoebe Lee in Yasutoma in Torrance, California, on an email. So I sent a note back and I said, Dear Phoebe, that's definitely the old man's hand. That's definitely one of my roosters. And I really don't know if that's your brush or not, because as like this one, the logo's all worn off. And she said, well, could you look? It's Yasutoma. And so that was the next email. So I started looking, and sure enough, I found a YA, and she called. She got excited. That set a call up with us. We talked for an hour and had the best conversation ever about why a tall East Tennessee boy that had a German background would paint with calligraphy or Japanese bamboo brushes. Why? She said. And I said, because they're so loose. And when I started painting watercolor and wanted to start without knowing anything about it, I just was obvious thinking, well, it must use water and it must use color. So how do you mix them up? And, you know, all I was used to was those little pads that you got cheap watercolors in at like big box stores. And then my son was a thrower at Appalachian State, and I went up to Boone one day and said, Cheap Joe Miller's art store. And I went, hey, son, I'll come back and pick you up this afternoon. You got to go to this event. And I drove down there, and I walked around for a while. And I went, oh, my gosh. Because Carol had given me some acrylic, and I didn't know what to do with them, and I didn't realize how I was even going to sketch, didn't know how to sketch. This was in 2005. And so at that point in time, of course, I bought a book on how to sketch, and I started just sketching things out. So this will give you an idea of how that, and this is one idea. Okay, so this is number A. And this will be number B over here, or maybe C, because if it was a B, it'd be a B. So we can do another one. So what I did was I bought these professional watercolors tubes, and then I started filling up these little half pans, and the rest is history, people. I, like some of you, and Denise, I didn't know that you started painting watercolor on this show either. That just blows my mind, because you already had, some of you are just naturally gifted. You know, it's easy to see what's on Roo's Crew. Sally Mason, just like the jar, first time here. Hi, Jean A., she says, thank you for being on the show, Sally. I don't call everybody out, but man, at home, I'm missing my mason jar. I'm having to use this cup for water this morning, but I wish that were your family, and you could take us all to an island somewhere. Love mason jars. Nothing like having sweet tea in a mason jar. Okay, so this is one idea. I'm going to paint another one and show you how fast I do these, but take a look. I'm going to draw this here, and then I'm going to draw this little thing here. And by the way, if you've not looked, and I'm not looking at any this morning, I promise. I wish I had some, actually. I should have, but my studio, I generally carry a few little things to look at. But this, the body of a dragonfly to me looks like a tiny little helicopter. It's got where the pilot sits, and then it just kind of gets all scrambly back here. And then these things can roll around sideways, kind of like this. They can have a little turn in them. And so then this is the wing that's kind of crazy, because it'll go up here like this and come down and then have another one. And then maybe this one will be up here. And then these legs, I love these legs that come down. And so you see, I'm just really rough sketching this. Here's the thing. The people that you share or sell off, as I said in my email last night, we're going to talk about that today. What art you show, what art you share, what art you sell, what art you set sail. Down the bunny trail, you need to just give some away, like to the trash can. Don't hold on to everything. You just don't need it. But once again, I'm going to use this Kilimanjaro brush. The thing I love about these brushes is, let's see if I have one. For those of you who are joining me the first time, let's see if I have a brush that, I think I have one in my art bag here. You saw that laying down there. I do carry this in my bag. Here's one. Okay. Here's one. Take a look at this. Okay. Look at this brush. And you think, how in the world am I going to paint with this? And there's the logo right there. It says this is a 0, I think. This says SW1, Yasutoma, China, all purpose. There's a whole line. Phoebe sent me a note yesterday. I sent her a greeting. She sent me a note yesterday afternoon and said, from Yasutoma, and said, hey, we got a new pen coming out. Can't wait to send you some. So I'll test it out. And if I love it for the show, I'll let you know what it is. And maybe even she'll send me several and I'll give some away. That'll be fun. So you look at this, you think, there's no way I could paint with this. I mean, just look. It's like one of those brushes you buy at a big box store. There's no control. It's like, And this is usually goat hair right here. This is usually goat hair. So, but watch what happens when I wet this brush. Just soak it up a little bit and let that hair, the mop I call it, look at what's happened to it now as I drag it out here and put it near the paper. Take a look. Okay? If I roll it on a piece of paper like this very gently, look at what happens. I've sharpened it just like a pencil. And now it has enough water in it to go in and do what I want to do here. So I'll bring that in, come up with some of the splash, come down with some of this, maybe a little there. This time I'm going to use this different green, and I'm going to put it right. No, I'm not. I think I want the brighter green up there. I'm going to put it right here. Let me go back and just take that out. Can you erase in watercolor? Heck yeah, see that? Erase most of it. Come in just a little bit. This is a bigger brush than I would normally use, and that's the reason why, is because it's too long and I just dropped it. That's okay. Paint that into something, a leaf, all right? So maybe I'll come in with a little turquoise on his body here, just jumping my brush down in this turquoise a little bit, and I'm gonna come right in here and just touch this in and let it follow the water, for heaven's sakes. Watercolor, okay? Put a little orange right in here on top of that color. Bring it back. Maybe a little, ooh, I like this. I haven't used this color in a long time. A little, someone will have to tell me what it is. I forgot. It's a color. Watch this. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to pile up a few colors here, just like this. And then I'm going to take a little piece of paper towel and just kind of lay it on them ever so gently and take some of that out. You see that? Okay? Maybe you don't see a whole lot of red on these guys, but I'm going to put some on his bottom there. So I'm going to paint one of these on a different kind of paper. Remember, this paper is a lot looser, takes water a little differently, but that's kind of how you start. So if you don't know how to draw this, then just start drawing the head. It's a little bit of a pear shape, and then the body, kind of like this. And it almost looks like a triangle that you forgot to do. I always find other shapes, and I start looking for those. And I know some of you who sketch do things like that, okay? Helicopter comparison. See, Jason, I knew he'd go that, because when he is out to sketch architecture, he'll look for straight lines, and he'll look for cut lines, and he'll look for vanishing points, and he'll look for perspective, and what's high, what's low, what's curved around. So does it look like the ellipse? Does it look like the top of a coffee cup? Is it circled just in a piece? Can I see it? What is it? And so those things will help you when they're out there, instead of thinking, oh no, I don't know how to draw this tree. It goes up like this, these two straight lines, and then it has this thing on it. You go like, what? and then it has some apples on it. And yeah, if you're still in Miss Wilson's third grade class, that's going to cut it. But otherwise, bring that stump up there like it would. Now, if you're down here in Florida and you're drawing trees, you can come down like this, but then you can come in and you can do these trees like this, and you can do these trees like this, and you can do these trees like this. See, and suddenly you go, oh my gosh, he just painted a palm tree. All right, so let's go back. All right, there. Where's my paper? Shoot, here it is. All right, let's do a dragonfly for real. I'll put on a little music and I'll paint one, and then I'm going to paint when in Rome. Okay, I'm down here. I paint dragonflies. I paint all sorts of stuff. Let's do one. Let's do one like that one I started. Let's do that one that's flying this direction this morning. All right, so here we go. Little flying music. Remember, if you've got a question. If you got a question, just put a couple Q's with it, and I'll try and every now and then just jump up here to the search and hit QQ. I don't see all of them that come in. So Michelle says she's having a snowy Saturday in Idaho. Hey, I'm having a rainy day in Jacksonville, and there we go. It'd be nice for a bunch of us to go as a Roo field trip. Yeah, one of these days we're going to do that. I was going to try and do it in Jekyll Island, and I hope before Jesus takes me off this planet, I can do a live field trip somewhere, and we'll just talk about what we're painting, and maybe we can bring in a couple friends and some of you who are working on things to help me do that. That'd be great. How does painting in Florida inspire you differently than being home, Jason? Yeah, well, it's the other. I just showed you. I had all those little things when in Rome. What's at the beach? A crab, shrimp. They're fresh shrimp here out of Mayport. A rooster in an Adirondack chair. Of course, you'd say, well, that's a New York chair, but yeah, but man, a little crab. The sandpipers, which I'll show you how I did a sandpiper here this morning in a little bit. And but I'm going to show you a new pen here too. So here we go. All right. So the first thing I want to do is I want to just do that little pear shape. If you feel more comfortable doing this with a pencil, do it with a pencil and then erase it a few times. Okay. I don't paint with a pencil, and I think I know Jason's would do this, and he said it several times. He even says it on his own instructive times that he's done. Ink inspired. Inspiration. He says he sketches with most of the time a Sharpie, a fine line Sharpie. And so once you put down a line, it's kind of there. So what are you going to do with it? Are you going to panic and go, oh no, I have to throw that piece of paper away? No, turn it into something, make it something. So same with the dragonflies. I don't know many of you, if you've been out in the last 2 or 3 months or years, or even if you've ever gone and tried to catch a dragonfly like a butterfly and actually look at all the parts. You probably look at Google or you look at something, but there's great photographs. And sometimes a image photograph will be good. You just look and you sketch it. That's what you're doing in art anyway. You go out and you see something. You think, I'm going to paint that. I'll shoot a photo of it and I'll finish it when I get home. There's nothing wrong with that. It's your original interpretation of that. Where artists get in trouble is when they go out and they find something that they really love, and then they paint it just like that artist, and then they start selling it as theirs, and that's the issue. But this is for you to learn. Pastis, remember? That's how the French learn. You apprentice under it. So here we go. Let's do this little pear-shaped, and I'm going to do this small little dragonfly right here. Okay, so we're going to do this little pear-shaped head, and then there's another eye. There's his big old eyes, which are just way out of proportion in his life, I think. And then his body, like ants, is segmented. You know that from looking at insects. And so you're going to come up here and you're going to just do this little helicopter piece like that. There you go, like that. And then up here is where the body, the little fuselage of the helicopter goes back. And then I like this one kind of bending down something like this, almost like, and look what this reminds me of, a shrimp body here, see? So he's coming in for a landing, and he's throwing down his rudder brake. And then we'll put the legs on him in a little bit later, but I want to come right in here where this is probably his strong muscle right there. And so maybe I'll just make a little mark there. And I'm going to come in and ever so lightly, I'm going to go up here and just turn. You notice I'm not finishing those wings. And I'll probably put another one right here and right there. Okay? I'm not going to finish those wings. I kind of like them like they are. Now I'm going to come in and I'm going to do the leg, and I'll come down and come in here. The legs are jointed. They come out like this. There's a little bit of a mouth, but not much. And then, and we don't worry about his legs. We don't know how they're constructed as he's coming in and getting ready to hit maybe a lily pad here. Let's see if we can draw a lily pad, something like this. And a very Monet pad that's just floating around out there in the water. Okay, so maybe he's coming in on a lily pad like that. Look, not worried about my border. The framers fuss at me all the time. I get people who say, my framer wants to know if you would leave more space between the paper and the art. I'm like, tell your framer to get a bigger mat. So I'm not being a wise guy, but I am a little bit. So, I'm in the studio. I don't think of that stuff. Okay, so here we go. Now, I'm going to switch back to this smaller bamboo brush. Remember, it's all pinned out here. I'm going to grab my colors right here. And then let's just put on a little music to paint by, in the words of the one and only. Ooh, that's nice. All right, a little water, fresh water, and then come in, and here we go. I'm going to pick up this. Now you're going to see a little more run with this, and here's why. Is because on watercolor paper, the ink, on cold press paper, the ink dries slower. Why? Because it gets in all those little ripples and it doesn't spread out as much, even though it might have some cotton in it. Look what's happening. It literally is getting a little darker, even as you can see it. And these lines are going to soften more than they did on our practice thing, which was on the fly leaf. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to leave his eyes for a second. I'm going to do him in some bright turquoise also. I like that turquoise. I'm just going to put it in here. I'm going to leave a holiday or two, just like that. Done. Finished. Man, that took a long time to do that body. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a little bit of this yellow, and I'm just going to put a little touch of yellow right here, just like that. Okay, and that's going to mix with that black in there and just sort of turn another color a little bit. If this light goes out, don't panic. I've got another one to turn in here. Maybe some orange right in the middle of his body right here. A little bit of a purple glow right here. And then I'm going to go down and just pick this blue color back up, and I think I'll finish him in the blue. He's not too decorative. He just got this one spot. Don't know much about him. Don't know. I know that's the male, like in the red bird, is probably a little bit more bright just because he draws attention to himself. Let's see here. I love it when artists leave pencils in the original work. So do I. And sometimes that's really fun. Elaine says, wow, I tried to erase all mine. If you notice, I think the where it is, I think the dragonfly that I painted yesterday and sold, I think you'll see pencil lines in it. I think I was just sitting there at the table and I was thinking I should go buy a pencil sharpener. So I had a fat little pencil before I was doing it. Once again, whatever I have at the time, that's what I do art with. So I want to throw some green right in here, just some of this beautiful green, right, just like this. A little too much. If there's too much paint in my brush, I just keep a pad close by. Remember, this is a very floppy little brush. I mean, it just takes off and bends in every direction, but I kind of like how that's going right there. All right, now let's do the wings, and let's think about them being. Let's put a little bit of Payne's Gray in there first, or excuse me, not Payne's Gray, but what am I using? I'm using French Gray. Okay, just a little bit of French Gray on top of the wing first. And that water had begun to settle a little bit, so now I've got a little bit. I'm going to come in with just a little bit of yellow, springing it out just like this. Now I wash my brush out, and I'm going to go back in. It's clean, but it's wet. I'm going to pick up some of that yellow, and I'm going to push it out a little farther. You see what I did? I brought some heavy paint in, and then I backed off, washed my brush out, and I dried it out like one tap. Here, I'm gonna show you this one more time. I'll show you again. Here I'm gonna put a little gamboge right here, like this. See, that's pretty heavy. That little line right there is pretty heavy. Wash my brush out, that kind of, it's not completely dry, but it is, but I'm going to grab this now and just push it out like this a little farther. Now I'm going to grab a little bit of turquoise, because that sort of matches the body, and come off of this with a little turquoise in here. And I'm going to grab a little bit of royal amethyst. And we'll do the same thing. Clean my brush out again. And then I'm going to come in and I'm just going to push this out just a little bit like this. And remember, I didn't really draw these wings. I just gave them a little strut line. And then I went out like this. And watch, I'm just picking it up here and letting this push aside. Why? Because it shows a little bit of action. See? That's really cool, isn't it? Now, I'm going to back off of that and just let it do what it does. And when I mean that, I mean let the paper, the water, and the pigment just kind of meld together. Fumata. Let it create, I think some of you call it mushrooming or let it blooming. Just let it do it, okay? All right, so now what I want to do now is I want to grab a little bit of a different color green here. Let's see what this is. I think this is some undershadow, kind of brown green. Yeah, that'd be good. All right, and then a little bit of green down in here, but it got carried away. And let's go in here and just give these, now notice I didn't wet these before, right? So here's where I'm breaking my own rule, but I'm bringing in a wet brush with the pigment in my wet brush because I want a little brighter effect on these lily pads right here. All right, so I'm bringing this in just like this. And I don't really paint lily pads. That's Monet's job. And it was his job. And so there you go, the little lily pad, and then catch a little stem going down. And then here's where I'm going to go grab some, just a wash across here like this. And I'm going to grab some ultramarine blue, splash it in right here, just to create a little water effect. Just let that kind of go in everywhere it wants to go. It's okay if the green runs into the blue. We don't know if it's a reflection on the water. We don't know what. We don't know what we're doing. All right, but you get the idea, okay? Now when this dries just for about 15 seconds or 20 seconds, I'm going to change one thing, okay? Excuse me. See, what I didn't do is I didn't spend all this time penciling it out and erasing and penciling it out and erasing. I'm going like, I don't have that kind of time. Well, I do. But part of people say, I don't understand how you're so loose. And I go, I don't understand how you spend so long worrying about one line. I want you just to lighten up and just say, boom, I'm going to go. I'm off and running. So watch what I'm going to do here. I'm going to take a little bit of this and I'm just going to break it into some. I'm using my pen over this wet ink now, and I'm just bringing some little detail back to this big old bamboo, or excuse me, big old leaf of this water lily. If I wanted to, I could probably come in right here and do, even over this blue, like it's in the back, I could probably come over and do a little bit of a water lily flower. Let's just watch this. See if this will even work. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to get some titanium white right here. Just grabbing a little titanium white down in my, there it is. Got to find a camera here today. Man, I'm so far off and apologize. Okay, I'm throwing some titanium white right here, just like this. And now while that's still just wet, I'm going to drop some orange in it, just right here like this. Just let it pop up like it's a little bloom here, just coming out of there, just like that. And then once that dries, I'll come back in and do another little spot of white in that. Okay, see this blue was really still wet up here, and I'm just going to let it go. It's a little, should be a little sharper, but we'll see what happens. Okay, grab some more white, drop it in. And then if I don't like it where it's going, I'll probably take it and erase some of these outer edges here, just like this, and come back in just a minute and shape that flower up just a little bit more. Okay? All right. Look, I'm just playing. But I'm going to do another dragonfly on the same card. So I'm just, look, I'm loving where this is going right here. And then once, if I want a little detail in the wing, now I could come in. Let's say now you come in with, here's one. Here's, now you come in with a pencil, okay? Here's a little Black Murado, okay? Warrior. I'm going to come in with a little pencil, and I'm going to put some really fine lines in there, just as pencil. And then more than that, watch this. I'm going to come in with a fountain pen, maybe my little Kakuno here. And while that's still wet, I'm going to come in and I'm going to drop some little just tips right around the edge of the bottom of this, like this. Look at this. And it's still wet enough that they're spreading a little bit and beading out. And that's kind of stuff I love. If that pen doesn't do it, I'll grab this one right here. And if that pen doesn't do it, I'm going to show you a new pen. While this is drying for a second, I'm going to show you a pen. Okay? Ready? Here it is. This pen has been in my bag for probably 3 years. And what's French gray? Ooh, Karen, French gray is like beautiful. It's not going to go chocolate like Payne's gray. It's not going to go dark. It's going to stay a fog gray. It used to be called Bar Harbor gray, if that tells you anything. To tell you how Joe Miller loved Bar Harbor, Maine, and he would paint up there. They quit doing Bar Harbor gray. They call it French gray now. Okay, so here's the pen I'm going to show you. So look at this pen. Some of you may use this. It's a Uniball pen, and then it has this lovely large font, all capital, Air on it. See it right there? It says Air. I don't think it's focused yet because my hand's in the way, but Uniball Air. Some of you may use this. This is a black one. I went to an office supply store yesterday, and I found 3 in a pack. I found them online. They do a blue, a red. I don't know how those colors work. This has been in my box forever. I'm going to show it to you. The nose of it looks like a bullet. See it? And it has a porous point. There's a tiny little roller ball there, but it's kind of porous. And it works almost like a flare pen. And you can use it and it bleeds like crazy. I'm telling you, man, it got away from me yesterday, and I just used it on a painting, and I wanted you to see how it could kind of be. I'm just going to put it here now to ruin this painting, but it's okay. It doesn't matter. But watch this. I'm going to put these little eyes in there with it. Look at how it paints over watercolor. And I'm going to show you how it bleeds here in just a second. Do I highly recommend it for watercolor? No, but I highly recommend you being careful with it, but it'll be another pen to throw in your arsenal that I think you love. You already know that I have the Lamy. I have my Kakuno. I have, goodness gracious, I have my, where is it? Preppy pen there, that one. So I always use fountain pens. Why? Because they bleed so much. But this one really does take off, and I'm gonna show you in just a second. I'll have a few more minutes, but I want to finish one more. I'll just do another creature on here for you, and I'll do this one in pencil so some of you can see those pencil lines left and see how I would use them. Since I'm at the beach, here's what I'm doing today. To give you an idea, the eye, the helicopter, the whole concept. I'd love for you just to run with this. Now, if this gets a little dull for me, I might come back with my tinier brush right here, and I might just dip a little more orange in there and let the orange just kind of come out. Do the same thing, clean my brush out, and just grab that orange and push it up in there, and just let it go like that, boom. And so suddenly I have this beautiful little dragonfly who's the closer to his body, the less translucent his wings are and the more bright it is. And then out here, you almost really see the sky through them. I could have put some more blue up in here, and we could have probably done the sky showing through. Okay, that just gives you an idea. And then eventually we'll come back, and I won't come back on this one. This is one of my set sails. You know what I mean by that? I mean, you paint work to share. You paint work to show. Hey, show me what you do. This is it. This will be in my portfolio pictures. I paint work to share. I paint work to sell. And then I paint work to set sail. And that means I'm just going to probably say, I learned something on this, I demoed with this, and I'm just going to let it go somewhere. And I'll probably just punch this one into the bunny trail. All right, so that gives you an idea of how to do that. All right. All right. Let me clean this brush out, get it back clean over here, and then I'll just do a little crab here. The way I do those little crabs is I'll start here, and I'll do this little tip on his wing, and I'll just come over, and I'll do on his wing, and I'll come in like this, and then I think he's got probably a couple eyes up here like this. It sort of looks like a spaceship. It looks like Marty the Martian, right? And then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to draw these once again. Come down like that. I don't finish all of his legs. Carol goes, "Hey, how come you don't draw the legs on the crab?" And I go, "I don't draw legs on things. You know that, right?" So, but you can sometimes. And the crab's claws are a little different than lobster claws. They tend to come out and then have a little more roundness to them, sort of like that. Sometimes I'll make them look the same just because I'm so used to drawing lobsters, but really they're a little more round, kind of like this. And so there's a little heavy on the pencil, but just so you can see it this morning. And just for fun, I'm going to use this pen. Here's this Uniball Air put to the test. So I'm going to roll it in like this, and man, it is dark. Jason, if you don't have one, you might love it for your buildings, but I'll tell you this, you got to be careful with it because it's going to get away from you in the bleeding department, okay? All right, so I'm going to leave all of these lines. Okay, so there's my crab right there. How fast did that happen? Now watch this. Let's just use the same brush. What the heck? It's going to hold a little more water, but let's go for some orange claws. Just bring it in like this. These would be sandy claws. Oh, I'm sorry, it has a bad pun, and I actually used it. I didn't mean to do that. All right, let's get a little blue in here. Just some blue. And since Carol likes blue, we're going to throw a little blue on this crab. But I'm also going to put some green on him because I just like the green. I'm going to also, watch this, I'm going to stack a little red in there to just go toward a little brown. Yeah. It'll come back a little orange. I like that, actually. What's this color right here? All right. And let's do a little orange down here on his legs, on the outside, a little orange on this leg down here. And then do we have, well, we got some black over here. Get a little bit of black. Let's throw a little bit of black in there on this. Okay, so this is just how I would use a little quick, watch this, a little boop with blue. Boop, blue, 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 blue. My world is blue. All right, you can always add a little bit of fun color to them. And just make them anything you want. No, nobody's going to say, "Hey, I think you used too much green on the crab." You go like, "Have you seen everything underwater?" No, I don't think so. So that gives you a little idea. But if I wanted to, then I could come in here and just do, maybe he's touching the ground, the ocean on this. And so there I'd put a little bit of blue in here, just like so, and just let it bleed in with that pen. You see how it's bleeding? Take a look. Look at this. You want some good Payne's Gray? Take a look, and I'm going to show you that for you Payne's Gray lovers. You might get Payne's Gray without buying Payne's Gray. And I'm going to drop a little bit of purple just in the shadow here, just like this. So he's just looking like he's got a little bit of and really, we could have a tad of red shadow down here too. See all the red in his body? So it could be reflected back in the water here, like this. And then you suddenly have a painting. And that's how fast it can happen sometimes. And so use a lot of French gray. Uniball Air, yes, that's what this pen is. There's also a Davies Gray. Yeah, there's everything out there. And a part of it is, notice how I am using a lot of looseness, Jason. But I want to show you one more thing with this pen before I go. And once again, I'm not recommending you run out and buy one of these. You may or may not have a use for it. I just sometimes, it literally had been in a box for 3 years because that box had been in my closet. And when I was packing up some camera gear for this trip, I went, whoa, what's that pen doing down in there? And I should try it. So I stuck it in my pocket. And the other night, I put it on one of those little crabs and it went boom. So then I got it. And here's what I wound up with. There's my finished little painting this morning. 2 little sea creatures from North Beach, Jacksonville. None of these guys are out running around today because they're like, I'm not getting out and getting wet. Come on, man, I'm fragile. Oh, they're not. And I love the fact that like honeybees, they have 4 wings, and their wings can yaw and pitch, and they can hover. I've got a poem written about these World War II planes that I call them, and so, World War I planes. They remind me of biplanes. They attack. Okay, so watch this. I'm going to use this pen again. We'll come in here, and I'm going to come in with this pen, and look, I'm literally putting, on this wet watercolor, I'm literally putting more ink in there. So those of you who do overlines and things like that, actually, I like this painting right here. I really like it a lot, actually. That's cool. Maybe I won't set sail of this one. Maybe I'll keep it and do something else with it. Let's see if we can go in here and do some little rough things on the claws. Look at this, kind of some detail with this pen. You know, maybe some little grippers up here like this. I like it. I like it very much. I like it a lot. How fun is that, huh? See all those little marks? But this brush, when you're using this brush is really a lot of movement, and you got to keep it going. If you let this, remember, you've got a long piece of goat hair here, which holds a lot more water than your nylon brushes, or even if you're painting with pseudo sables. A sable brush will hold a lot because it's real hair. Real hair holds a lot of water. Nylon holds less. All right, so last little bit here. I want to show you one more thing with this pen. And there you go, 324. Kind of a fun little painting, huh? Yeah. All right. Good little demo. I hope it helped you get a feel for. I hope it helped you get a feel for how quick you could do some of these. I'm just going to grab a little piece of paper here in a couple minutes I have left, and I'm going to show you what this pen will do in the bleed. Okay. So one more time, I constantly am doing this every time I introduce a new pen. I kind of do a different bleed. So this is with the Uniball Air. And there's tiny little ball there, but this end is porous and it brings a lot of the ink down. I don't know how long it'll last, but this one's had the cap on it. It's been laying forever. I found it yesterday at Office Depot, but not a lot of them. I think Amazon's probably the way to go. Why leave your house unless there's one around the corner? I haven't looked at Staples yet, and art stores do not carry it to my knowledge. So I did a little search yesterday. I was going to try and have several here just to see how the colors would do. But take a look at this. If I'm doing this little ball right here, and I just double up on this side with 1, 2, 3. Okay, there you go. Put the top back on, and let me just grab my little brush I've been fiddling around with here. Bring over a little bit of water and just start to let this go. And this is on watercolor paper. And look at that. Look how dark this is. Now watch this. I'm going to go back over here. All right. I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to clean my brush out, and I'm going to tap my brush 3 or 4 times to really get most of the water out of it. And now I'm just going to start bringing this over. Just bring it over this way right here. Damp enough, using the water that I'm picking up from this. And look what's happening to this. And that's going to go dark again when I get to this line. See it right here? It's breaking that up. But take a look at the beautiful gray that you're getting here, just from that one pen. And so I've got friends who'll say, well, that's not watercolor. I'm going like, excuse me? Anything that's thinnable by water, Norman Thayer, is watercolor. Ink becomes watercolor. It's all a water medium. If you're latex paint is a water medium if you're thinning it with water. And so that's the whole concept. Now watch this though. Last minute here to go. Look at this. I'm going to come in right here. And what if I come in here and just kind of scratch around a little place like this? So anyway, it's been a fun pen. I thought you might enjoy seeing it this morning, so I laid it out for that purpose. Look, still wet. And look at this just run down here. Boom. Okay, gives you a little idea. Great shadowing. I could come in here and build a shadow behind this. And pick some up here, bring it down in here, bring it back around. Boom. All right, there. I've just made a sphere with a pen and a brush that should be big enough to do that with. And then it's Saturday morning. Here we go. Watch this. There we go. See if I can do it with this big brush. Let's get a little bit of French gray. Buck those wings in just a little bit right there. Maybe just a little touch of brown on that. Just a little bit right here. There we go. Okay, and then a little bit of gambos right here. A little more gambos right here. And watch this. I'm going to use this air pen again and go in there and just get a little bit of black and a little bit of black. And do the legs with that. Do the head. And there's my little to the moon, Alice. Tells you how old I am, right? All right. Now let's just touch this with a little bit of yellow here just for fun over this. Look here. The shadow doesn't work in this, but it was okay. Didn't know I was going to do this anyway, so there you go. All right. I hope you play a lot with your watercolor, and I hope you, Tiny B. All right. How uppity Gene Antholzer said. I'm not sure what that came from, but I like it. Cool. All right, thank you so much. Laura Ann says the moon, and the bleed on this is pretty cool. All right, Sheila Nelson, you're on. Welcome to the show. Thank you for being on. Jacqueline Browse, didn't see you earlier. And show what you learned. There you go. Good morning, everyone. Prepping for beginners watercolor class. Okay, at the local coffee shop. Love it. Philip, I didn't see you this morning. Thank you for being on the show. This would look good on one of your tea towels. Yeah, that might look good on one of my tea towels. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, blessings. Hey, June Jones, off to see my husband in rehab. Okay, June, pray for you. Hope you're doing well and hope he is. Thank you all for being a part of this morning. And it was worth it setting up this menagerie. Didn't you love that little walkway that I walked to? And right now, of course, the sun has gone in and it's cloudy again. And it's time for me to I got to remember now, this is not my coffee. This is my paint water. But I did make a cup of coffee this morning. It looks about like the same. And I could have painted with it. Blessings to you. Hey, thanks for supporting Roodoodles just with your time and your energy. And be creative out there. And last sip this morning. It's the 2nd of March. And the reason I said I'm keeping up with this month, because somewhere between the 20th and the 28th, I started doing this show, and I've been doing it now for 4 years, and so I'm going to throw myself a party and just probably do another show. I did 100 days straight, and the name of the pen again is Uniball Air. Denise answered that question, AIR. Right now, before you hang up, if you haven't gone already, then just as you take the last sip, think of somebody you can send a text to today, a word of encouragement, and say, hey, thinking about you, thinking like an artist, but thinking about you. Hope you're being creative today. And if not, just encourage you in what you might be doing. Life is short, so enjoy. Got a person that I'm going to send a text to right now. Blessings to you. I'm out of here like a herd of turtles. See you next time.